Hey guys, it's Rachel with Pretty and Plants. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're here about plants because that's what I'm here about. And today we're going to talk about the peace lily and a few other things, so stay tuned. Okay, so I went plant shopping today and I got 3 plants. I got a Hindu rope and I decided I seriously have a problem, an addiction issue with Hindu rope if I see one. Now, this one is variegated. It was the last one the nursery had. I don't know what else to say about that. Okay, so I'm gonna transfer these to leca. These do great. All Hoyas do great in leca. And they just start getting so bushy and beautiful and make you feel like such a pro, and they're so easy. So my next Hoya is this one. Now I'm gonna get a close-up because I got it at the nursery. It's a really thin leaf. Is that really a Hoya? I don't know. And y'all know I am terrible at plant names. I mess them up all the time. So if you know what kind of Hoya this is, please comment below because the leaf is really, really thin, like a lipstick plant. I cannot tell you how many Hoyas I bought that were lipstick plants. The star of the show today, it is a peace lily. Oh. So the peace lily, people have been asking me, have I transferred a peace lily? And I had not. Now, spoiler alert, peace lilies do great in leca. Anyone on Instagram will tell you. I've never bought one because personally, I thought they were a little boring. Although, I will say my sister-in-law has the most beautiful plant in the world in her house, and it's a peace lily that she's had for years. Now, the cool thing about peace lilies is they tell you when they're thirsty. They get sad, you water them, they get glad. Boom, easy, easy. Now, I did go ahead and already take off the dirt. Look at those roots. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the pothos roots where they're just so intense and thick and prolific. So what I did for this one, I already took the dirt off. I did put it in some, and I'll move to the side so I'll show you the video. Took the dirt off and I used a sprayer to get kind of between the roots. If you have one like on your garden hose or something, do that. And then I swished mine in Epsom salt water. And now I'm gonna let all these roots dry out. Now, the kicker is this is the vase. So I'm going to plant it in leca in this gorgeous little doodad. And y'all know, well, I love it too, but my mother loves blue and white. I just did a blue and white fish tank for her. If you're not on my Instagram, I'll post it. So this will go next to the blue and white fish tank in leca. However, whenever I transfer something, I wait about a month before I give it as a gift because the first month is the most touchy with transfers, and I will keep y'all posted on Instagram. But when I do this, look how thick those roots are. So that tells me a couple things. One, it probably likes to be root bound when the roots grow that intensely. Number 2, I normally only plant 1 inch. Like I put 1 inch of leca and 1 inch above, but because of the intensity of the growth on this peace lily, I'm going to give it 2 inches underneath it because you can tell this guy pushes out the roots. I got a fish tank and I got my first water out of the fish tank this week and just threw the water in some plants. Wow. Move over, Newt. This water, my plants look like they're on like cocaine or something. They're so happy, so excited. So if you have a fish tank, you already know this. If you're thinking about getting a fish tank, get yourself a siphon to siphon out the water into a bucket or a bag, and definitely water your houseplants, even in leca, with fish tank water. I have a hydroponic garden. I'm starting to get tomatoes. It is 30 vegetables or plants in a 2 square foot footprint. The garden comes with lighting, the garden comes with the seeds, and the garden is for people who don't garden. And we have already made salads with our garden. I've had it less than 60 days. If y'all are interested in that garden, let me know and I will do a review of it because it came in a box. We assembled it, added water, bam, we have 30 things. Now it's a hydroponic garden, and what we're doing with leca is semi-hydroponic or passive hydroponic gardening. Hydroponic gardening involves a little bit more. So I got a DIY hydroponic gardening book and how to design and build an inexpensive system for growing plants in water. This is the first hydroponic garden you do. You take a glass and you spray it with chalk paint and you let it dry in the sun. And the reason it has sprayed with chalk paint is you don't want algae inside. Brilliant! So you could use this for your semi-hydroponic gardening. You could spray like a mason jar with chalk paint if you don't want the algae inside, but this is the kicker. Ready? I'm gonna turn it around. So when you spray paint it, you put a stripe of tape down the side, and then you can see the roots growing inside. Can you see the roots? I can see the roots. It's so exciting. It's so funny because look how little that is on the top. But I knew once this leaf got kind of intense, like it wasn't a baby anymore, it was kind of like a teenage leaf, then I knew, okay, we really have roots. I thought this was such a cool idea. Avoid algae, plant stuff in glass, use chalkboard paint, put chalk on there. I could write dates and stuff on this jar. It's so cool. And then, okay, I will give you one hint. This little, like, this is rock wool, or a kind of a rock wool, and you wrap the thing with a piece of fabric and let the fabric go to the bottom, so I won't have to add water for like 3 months. So you could have a whole garden of things. Now he tells in the book things that grow better in hydroponic gardening than not. And Thai basil was one of his favorite ones for this little jar idea. Love it. So I'm dipping my toes into hydroponic gardening. I'm learning a lot about semi-hydroponics at the same time because the two are kind of like cousins. Wanted to talk about my bird's nest fern really quickly because I've gotten questions about this. Someone asked if it does well inside. This does great inside if you're misting. If you're not misting, you will get these little brown tips on there. Now, you don't need to know if a plant needs humidity. All you have to do is look at your plant. If it gets little brown tips, it's saying, help me, I need humidity. So I was being such a good girl and misting all the plants in this room very regularly, at least twice a week for months. And this plant just was going crazy and loving his life and everything. And then in the last 2 months, no, I have not been a very good plant mom in this room. I haven't misted, I've barely watered. Everyone's alive, but this plant is telling me, ooh, I am a little bit crispy. Now, if your plant gets crispy, there's 2 things you can do. You can mist, and you know, that takes a little effort. Or if you want the effort-free method, is just move your plant to a bathroom. Now, we have humidity outside. It's Texas. We have 85% humidity right now. So until it gets cooler weather, I will probably stick this guy outside just so he can kind of have a humidity bath before winter time and just enjoy himself. These are all the notes. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is this piece of paper from Vermont Hoyas, list that describes the general temperature tolerances that Hoyas do best in. All of my Hoyas at one point or another have been subjected to my cruel outside treatment, and they all have sunburns. So when I got this piece of paper, I realized that I didn't know as very much about Hoyas, which I don't, but I knew even less than I thought I knew. He figured out and did this for you. Warm, cool, and intermediate. So all Hoyas fall into categories 90 degrees all the time weather, okay? The cool, lowest continual temperature 50, highest temperature 77, and intermediate, lowest continual cool 60 degrees, highest 95 degrees. So they haven't died on me because all these purple, I decided to highlight the ones that I have. Most of my Hoyas, and probably most of the Hoyas you have, fall in the cool temperatures, which means they do great indoors with some light, but not getting too hot, okay? So the carnosa, the compacta, the Hindu rope is a cool Hoya. The Hoya carry, the abovata, public calyx, the shepherdy, which I have that one, Kintiana and the lobata, I have those two. Those two Hoyas are they're the intermediate group. The warm group, which I live in Texas, I kind of want a couple of warm Hoyas. I do not have one. Lambie, I don't know. I'm not a good person at plant names, or especially Hoya names. All of these, I don't have one warm Hoya. So if you live in Texas and you have Hoyas and you think putting on them outside is a good idea, it's probably not a good idea. Hoyas have specific needs, just like humans. It's just the coolest thing. I'm so glad he organized this. I'll put a link for this down below if you want to know about Hoyas and their temperatures. Who knew? So, hope y'all enjoyed this program. I will keep you posted on my peace lily. What I'm gonna do is let it dry. And then the cool thing is the peace lily is so definite about watering. They tell you so loudly and clearly. I'm gonna be a smart girl. I'm gonna let these roots dry out pretty well. I did not do my normal spray. I don't think they deal with root rot as much as like a ficus or something like that. So I didn't do my normal spray of hydrogen peroxide. Instead, I gave it an Epsom salt bath because the roots, there's so many roots, all of them look so healthy. The magnesium just helps this peace lily transfer so much better and more quickly. Look how healthy and shiny it is. It has the little flowers. It's gonna look beautiful on my mom's desk. I'll have a great day. Can't wait to see you next time. Love you. Bye-bye.